Hey, what's up? Biz out here. And today, Saturday, the 23rd of July, I attended Fright Night Film Fest in lovely downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Lovely, sweltering hot, super packed Fright Night Film Fest in Louisville, Kentucky. And I had an absolute blast, and I want to talk about it, and it's a lot, so I'll just get right into it. Got up very early this morning, hit the road, got to the venue in Louisville and about 9:30, quarter to 10. Get there, pay my way in. They kind of duped me into getting this early bird special, which was like $5 or something more. But I got to go into the main, or one of the main conference areas earlier, before the doors opened officially at 10. Which basically, I walked in there. There was nobody there. There were no celebrities there. Everybody was sleeping in. So I basically just did a big circle around the place and then walked out. So good job, Fright Night, for getting that extra fin out of me. But since I was there early, definitely was able to jump into the John Carpenter line, which had already formed, but was relatively short at the time. He was coming down at 10 a.m. I probably waited 10 to 15 minutes for him just to come down. Once he got to his little nook and was doing the autographs, I probably waited another 20 minutes on top of that and met him, got my huge Halloween poster autographed, all my autographs and the pictures and stuff I'll show at the end of the video. His was done a little differently. You paid for, you had to get tickets, one ticket for the autograph, then an additional ticket for the photo opportunity, which the photo opportunity was to be held later in the day. Some kind of special photo opportunity where he's like in a throne with pumpkins all around him. I didn't stick around for that. Got my autograph, shook his hand, told him what a pleasure and honor it was to meet him, and moved on. But there's a little more with John Carpenter coming up a little bit later. Moved on into the main venues. Got to meet a lot of really cool celebrities. A couple of very aloof celebrities. A wasted celebrity, but mostly pretty nice celebrities. Bumped into some awesome YouTubers that were there. Had a lot of fun hanging out with them. B. West Jr. from EndruanceProductions, spent a lot of time with him. Ryan 1988, Douglander. Hung out with them. We waited in the line to see Linda Blair and get pictures and photographs with her, autographs and photographs with her. Which I've heard a lot of mixed things about Linda Blair, and Ryan was a little a little reluctant to meet her. He really wanted to meet her, but I think he was afraid of having a negative experience with her. I believe Doug had had a negative experience with her a couple of years ago, as far as her not signing his stuff the way that he wanted her to, with some classic lines from her movies, which she claimed were copywritten, and she couldn't use them on these autographs, or she could possibly get sued or something. I don't know, but anyway, I told him, I was like, dude, just start asking her about her animal refuge and all her charity work. And so anyway, he let me cut ahead of him so that I could test the waters. She was fine. Got my picture taken with her. Got my autograph from her. Just spoke to her very, very briefly, and then more or less moved on. Ryan gets up there, starts talking to her about animals or whatever, and boom, they're talking each other's ears off for 15 minutes. Literally, I mean, it was just the two of them talking for a good solid 5 minutes after the autograph, after the picture. And she said something to him like, "Oh, I wish there were more people like you in this world." And I was Doug and I got a good laugh out of that, and I think Ryan was very, very pleased. So it was really fun hanging out with those guys. Hung out a lot with B. West Jr. from Endurance Production. Awesome guy. We went and hit up some different celebrities and got autographs and pictures, and checked out the booths, and hung out with the Deadpit guys for a while. They're always awesome. Creepy Kentuckian and Uncle Bill, just talk shop with them, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and always enjoy seeing those guys, talking to those guys in person. It was like midday, and BOS was like, let's get some lunch, man. And at that point, I mean, I hadn't had anything for breakfast. I hadn't eaten anything all day. I drank like a can of Coke on the way up there in the car. So by noon, I was in it. Like, it all hit me at once. Like, when he mentioned lunch, it all hit me at once. Like, I'd been sweating my ass off. I was dehydrated. I hadn't eaten. It hit me all at once. I was about to freaking just pass out. I was about to be sick. So we go over to the Shoney's, which is across the street. We're eating, we're talking shop, we're just, BSing, talking about this and that, and getting to know one another. And all of a sudden, John Carpenter walks into Shoney's all by his lonesome, sits down at a booth all by himself, and starts to order food. And we're just like, wow. And B West had this like epiphany, I don't know, but he was like, you with celebrities, he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, you either watch, if they're in front of the camera, you watch these people all your life, or if they work behind the camera, you admire their work, all your life, and then all of a sudden you meet them, or you see them, and and you're sort of just struck by, they're human, they're just human, or I remember I was showing some of the pictures that I had here, or that I got today, to a friend of mine, and she was like, oh my God, these people look so old. And I was just thinking, when we think of, C. Thomas Howell, for instance, who was there. When I think of C. Thomas Howell, I think of Pony Boy, or, more so, Jim Halsey from The Hitcher, which, I mean, that movie was made in, what, 86? He was probably early 20s then. That was a long time ago, age catches up to all of us. But yeah, I mean, it was, people are older, people are fatter, people are, whatever. But, they're just people. And I thought that was interesting. And his epiphany, and then my friend being like, wow, man, so-and-so looks really old now. She didn't age well. I'm like, well, that you're thinking about them from 1975. That was a long freaking time ago. Not everybody's going to stay as beautiful as I am forever. And, what's my secret? I'll tell you, bathe in virgin's blood. It works. But after we ate, we walked over, and I just again just told him what a pleasure and an honor it was to have met him, and what a fan I was, and he was just very cool. Just made a little bit of small talk, and I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to shove a camera in his face or anything like that. So I just wanted to really just show my appreciation and move on, and so that was really, really cool. And by 12 or 1 o'clock, I stayed till about 2:30. It was absolutely jam freaking packed. I mean, you couldn't walk anywhere. Just people everywhere. The whole convention itself just seemed really kind of disjointed to me. They had one conference room with celebrities that around the wall, with vendors in the middle. They had another conference room down the hall with just celebrities. Then they had a whole other thing, and this was like the conference room, the conference area, whatever, of the hotel, which was attached to the actual hotel area by like a floating bridge or whatever. And then you had other vendors in the actual hotel area, and like Margot Kidder over in the hotel, like they didn't have room for. They were overbooked. I mean, they were sort of overbooked. So they had to move her over into the hotel area, into actually in a hotel room, which I mean, at the very least, it had AC in it. So I mean, you walk in there, and it felt good. I mean, she was sort of ostracized or something from everybody else, but you know, at least it was in a room with AC, and yeah, I don't know, it was so sweltering hot. I mean, just inside and outside, it was just so freaking hot, man. And oh gosh, I spent so much money. I spent a small fortune there, but it was worth it. I remember driving home. I pulled through the drive-thru at Taco Bell to get something to drink on my way home, and I literally had like $3 left. I had 3 singles left. So, but you know, worth every penny. Spent a lot of money, but like I said, it was worth it. Got to meet a lot of really cool people. I think I enjoyed, you know, I mean, of course, meeting John Carpenter was huge. And meeting him again at Shoney's was super cool. I mean, that he was really the whole reason why, you know, I went. You know, my saying this whole time was, if Carpenter's going to be there, you know, I'll be there. But I think, you know, really the thing that I'll probably remember the most is, you know, hanging out with, you know, B. West Jr., hanging out with Ryan 1988, hanging out with Douglander again, who I'd met at Scarefest a couple of years ago. You know, seeing the Deadpit guys again, who I'd first met at Scarefest a couple of years ago. Just, you know, running into a couple of people who knew me from YouTube. I mean, like, wow, holy crap. Aside from, you know, those guys. And like, yeah, hey, yeah, that's me. But yeah, just so much fun. Had an absolute blast. Got a lot of really cool stuff. And I'll show that off right now. Let's see, this is what I got from Danny Steinman. A Friday 5 mini poster signed to Justin, which is my first name. Thanks for being a fan, Danny Steinman. He was really cool. Oh my God, I was cracking up at him later. As it got later into the day, and it got more and more busy, his table was next to the Deadpit table, so I was over there quite a bit talking to them, and I'd kind of look over at Danny, and he'd be nodding off. I remember at one point he nodded so far. I mean, he went, I don't know how he didn't fall like right out of his seat. He nodded so far. And I was kind of keeping an eye on him. And finally, at one point toward the end, I just like, Danny, yeah, again, let me just say it was a pleasure to meet you, blah. He's like, oh yeah. So yeah, he was cool. He was actually the second person after Carpenter. I went straight for Danny Steinman. Okay, that should tell you something. All right, let's see what else we got here. This was from Linda Blair from The Exorcist, Sweet Dreams. Michael Biehn from Terminator, Aliens, Tombstone, so many awesome movies. To Justin, come with me if you want to live. Mr. Biehn was Mr. Biehn was kind of aloof, let's just say. He was either reading a script or writing a script on his iPad, and seemed far more interested in that than in anything else. But cool to meet him. This guy, C. Thomas Howell from The Hitcher, very cool to meet him. He was nice. He seemed a little intimidated by me physically, which, you know, I'm a big guy. Eddie Furlong. Edward Furlong, oh my goodness. Edward Furlong kind of violated me a little bit, I have to say. I think he molested me a little bit. The picture that we took, the original picture that we took together, had him, his hands in my genital area. I think he was a little intimidated by me physically too, and perhaps he thought that fondling my genitals would endear me to him, which strangely it did. However, that picture didn't take for some reason, so we had to take another one. I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate. But Margot Kidder from Superman, Black Christmas, Sisters, so on and so forth. She didn't have any Black Christmas stuff there. It was all Superman, a couple of Amityville horror things, one thing for Sisters, but no Black Christmas. She was very, very nice. Oh, this dude was awesome. Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. Donald Gibb, he was very, very cool. He had on the whole, you know, the beard and stuff from his, you know, his Viking commercials for Capital One. And he was really cool. He asked me, he goes, man, because he's a big guy. He's a really big guy too. He and I are actually about the same size. He goes, man, how do you handle the heat and stuff here being as big as you are, man? And I was like, you know, 31 years of practice, you know, you get used to it. This one was a special one for me, particularly. Susan Blackline from Jaws. She was the first victim in Jaws. I've seen Jaws I told her, I said, I've seen you be eaten by this shark a million times. And she said, so you know all the dialogue in the movie? And actually, pretty much I do. I've seen Jaws so many freaking times. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it so many times. And it was very, very cool to meet her. Very, very cool to meet her. So, and she seemed really sweet. So, let's see. Mr. David Naughton from American Werewolf in London. He signed this. This is his signature here. It's also got John Landis and Griffin Dunn's signature on it. I don't know if those are for real. Like, actually, I don't know. I do not know. But anyway, David Naughton signed. David Naughton, very nice guy. Again, he wanted to talk to me about the heat. He's from, he lives in Palm Springs, California. He said, of course, it's very hot out there too. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a dry heat here. It's a very humid heat. And he said, yeah, but he was very nice. He was very cool. And Larry Drake got him to sign this. This is the Dark Knight of the Scarecrow mini poster. He was very nice. So he was actually the last person that or the next to last person that I saw there. The very last person I saw there was C. Thomas Howell. But yeah, Larry Drake, he was very cool. He was somebody who I wanted to immediately get, but for some reason I just kept putting it off. But he was very nice. And I think somebody told me that he hadn't done an autograph until this convention in like the past 30 years or something like that. I mean, I was kind of surprised by that, to be honest with you, because I mean, he'd been in Dr. Giggles, he'd been in Darkman, he'd been in a lot of stuff. But here is the coup de grace. Here's the reason why I went to Fright Night Film Fest, and I'll have to grab it. Oh yeah, here we go. Halloween, huge poster. Let me get the autograph there. To Justin, John Carpenter. Yep, that's really the whole reason why I went. And yeah. So much fun. Yeah, I decided not to stay for the photo opportunity. Of course, it was extra money, which, I mean, at that, you know, what's an extra $30 when you've already spent a few hundred? But yeah, I just didn't want to stay. You know, it got to the point where it was so crowded, it was so hot. I just decided to take off. But yeah, awesome show. Really enjoyed hanging out with everybody. And again, Doug Lander, Ryan 1988. B.W.S. Jr., the Deadpit guys, and yeah, just an absolute blast. Got Scarefest coming up in late September. Got some cool guests lined up for that. Lance Henriksen's going to be there. Elvira's going to be there. Linnea Quigley's going to be there. Ernie Hudson's going to be there. So I'm going to try and make it out to that one. That one might be pretty cool. So all right, yeah. And here's the pictures. From my journey. So anyway, until next time, you guys take it easy and peace.